Ole Miss LSU. I like Ole Miss in this game. I thought Ole Miss was riding the hot hand in Trinidad Chambliss, and I think this game went absolutely perfectly for Lane Kiffin because if it was a big conversation of what quarterback he was going to choose, and if he chose the wrong one in the sense of LSU winning this matchup, it could have caused major questions for this Ole Miss program. But he chooses Trinidad Chambliss, and Trinidad Chambliss still remains to look really good. Now, he did make one bad pass that resulted in an interception, but this was a guy that passed for 314 yards on an LSU defense that looked like one of the best in the country coming into this game, and he also rushed for 71 yards as well. Trinidad Chambliss is just like a absolute stat patter. Like, he's a really good quarterback, but at the same time, all three starts we've seen of Trinidad Chambliss, this guy has nearly 400 total yards in every start against LSU. And Kawan Lacey does really good as well. He has 87 yards and a touchdown. Caden Lee has a touchdown as well in this game. His Ole Miss offense, in my opinion, still looks really good. And that was my concern for LSU coming into this game. LSU's offense just hasn't been there. It hasn't been anything like we thought it was going to be. And Ole Miss was humming on offense. And I believe that's what happened in this game as well. Credit to Ole Miss defense. They did look really good. Ole Miss defense was able to stop the run, which was phenomenal. And I think the reason why Ole Miss won this game, LSU was not able to run the football at all. When you run for 59 rushing yards, it's going to be extremely hard to win a game, especially in a top-ranked matchup. They get balled up for 59 yards. Another huge thing, Garrett Nussmeier throws another bad pass for an interception. This is multiple games now where it feels like every week Garrett Nussmeier is throwing interception. And for this receiving core that we thought was going to be the best receiving core possibly in the entire country with the amount of track stars they have, nobody stands out as receiving core at all. 63 yards for the top receiving target, Xavion Thomas, in this game. And then Nick Anderson had his touchdown. Nick Anderson was a guy that we thought was going to be one of the best receivers in the country, a guy that was going to step up in these big matchups. He does score a touchdown, but again, it just isn't enough. And I think this LSU has a lot of questions for Brian Kelly because this LSU offense has a ton of talent. Like, it has a ton of talent. Now, the reason why they weren't able to rush, obviously, Caden Durham was not in this game. That was huge for them. Caden Durham was in this game. It could be a different game when you're able to run the football. But when you're sitting back and passing, and like I said, when the play calling gets obvious and you can't run the football, that's where a top-ranked defense is going to, tee off on you in a sense. But I got major questions for this LSU team now. I got major questions. In the beginning of the year, I was saying this LSU defense is not what we expect at all. This LSU defense is way better than we thought. And this offense has the talent that we know to come around. And I still think this LSU offense can come around. But at the same time now, we are in week 5, and we saw one really great performance from this LSU offense. And I'm not going to lie, for a 4-1 LSU team that's ranked 4, they beat Clemson. Right now, you're looking at that Clemson win, not the same as you did in week 1 because how Clemson turned out. The offense really was not phenomenal in the game at all. Scored 17 points. Against Florida, they didn't really do much either on offense. You had defensive scores, only 20 points scored for LSU. And then you have Ole Miss again with 19 points scored. The amount of talent at receiver, how talented Garrett Nussmeier is as a quarterback. Major questions has to be asked. Why is this offense not producing? And for Ole Miss, again, I really liked them at home. I thought they were humming. I thought they were overlooked. And Trinidad Chambliss is going to be a guy that probably starts for the remaining of this year. He's the hottest player in the country right now. There's no denying it. And I think it's the right move as long as Austin Simmons stays for next year, because Austin Simmons was Lane Kiffin's guy. He was a highly touted prospect. But Trinidad Chambliss is going to be probably his last year in college football. So to ride it out with him and then stick with Austin Simmons for next year, if that's how it pans out, I absolutely love it. But let's be for real with how Ole Miss season went last year. You can't be thinking of 2-3 years down the line. You got to be thinking of right now. And Trinidad Chambliss is that guy. that gives Ole Miss the best chance of winning. He has been absolutely phenomenal, and you just gotta love his story. A guy that comes from Ferris State to be the starting quarterback of Ole Miss beats out a highly touted guy. Now you could say beats out a highly touted guy because at the time he was a place starter. You have to absolutely love it. This Ole Miss team is red hot right now.